Hello, and welcome to the Workshop 1 online presentation.
Hola, bienvenidos a la presentación del cuestionario número 1 en línea.
This video is part of the extensive community outreach conducted in part for the development of Pomona's Parks Facilities Master Planning process.
Este video es parte del extensivo alcance comunitario construido para el desarrollo del Plan Maestro de Parques y Facilidades Comunitarias.
My name is Zachary Meading.
Y mi nombre es David Molina.
And together, we're going to walk you through this workshop series.
Nosotros le guiaremos en la serie de talleres.
The purpose of the Park and Facilities Master Plan is really to create a guide and implementation tool or roadmap for the management and development of parks and facilities within the city. Most importantly, this guide is based on local community input, and the recommendations that come from it will completely be based on local Pomona community residents. The development of the Parks and Facilities Master Plan consists of 5 steps. First, getting the lay of the land, the inventory of existing conditions, where parks are, and what programs are available to the community. The second, most important step is the extensive community engagement, reaching out to hear what the community is looking for in terms of parks and recreation. Once we collect all of that information, we move into a needs analysis phase, where we're able to balance what exists versus what the community is looking for. Finally, we move into the recommendations in the 4th step, develop recommendations that are sound, based in reality, and can be backed by the last stage, which is funding and implementation, to provide a clear roadmap for the future of parks and recreation. The process of developing the Park and Recreation Master Plan will take course over a 12-month timeline. Currently, we're about halfway through that timeline as we begin the extensive community outreach phase. As we move through the next few months collecting community outreach data, the information will be compiled and analyzed together towards the end of the process, where we'll come back with commission and council meetings to report back to the public so you can see how all of this wraps together at the conclusion of the project. As we review the existing documentation, items that we look at are the land use and zoning plans to identify where neighborhoods exist, where open space is, where the corridors or commercial areas exist, and what is their relationship. We also look at the capital improvement programs, the general plan, as well as program guides to find out what information exists and what current planning documents exist that need to be considered as part of the recreation master planning process. Looking back at the inventory of parks and facilities, we find that there are a wide range of recreational opportunities for the residents of Pomona. The city has 28 city parks, there are 5 community centers, 8 activity recreation centers at the parks, as well as 2 public swimming pools and 2 skate parks. When we look at the inventory, we look at where parks are distributed throughout the community. This helps us identify, is there an equitable distribution of parks and facilities? Where do the parks relate in comparison to the residents? This helps us really dial in where recommendations need to be met based on local community needs and the information we hear from the community. Part of the background research also concludes a demographic analysis, where we find that the population of the city is just over 150,000 people. The largest percentage of that population, 36%, are ages ranging from 35 to 64. This information helps us when we start to compare people to programming elements for youth or seniors and how that plays into different community dynamics. We also compare this information to the county averages, and we see in the chart here identifies that the city has a lower senior population compared to the county average, as well as a higher youth population compared to the county average. The most important part of the Parks and Recreation planning process is really the extensive community engagement. We go out to the community in both English and Spanish formats through stakeholder interviews, sports organization questionnaires, community workshops, statistically valid surveys, as well as the project website. Most critically is on that project website, there's a feedback button where anybody at any point in time during the process can send direct feedback to the design team. Looking back at the multimodal survey information we've collected thus far, we see that 49% of the respondents get their recreation information of programs and services from online city websites or Google searches. 55% of the respondents identified that they recreate in a park or facility at least once a month or more. 21% of the respondents identified Ganesha Park as the most often visited park. 45% of those respondents identified that they were satisfied with the city's existing care and maintenance of the parks and recreation facilities. We also asked during the multimodal survey, what was one recreation program, class, or activity you would like to see added in the city or improved upon? And what we heard from the respondents of the survey was more sports, yoga, fitness classes, swimming, water park, as well as more youth classes and activities. Cleaning, general maintenance, and upkeep were also tied with activities for senior programs and recreation. We also heard other elements such as gardening, walking trails, biking trails, and arts classes among some of the top elements reported on the multimodal zone survey. One of the other questions we asked on the multimodal survey was to describe one park or recreation facility you would most like to see added or improved in the city of Pomona. Ganesha Park was one of the largest representative answers, coming in at 16%. We also heard dog park, all parks, cleaner, safer facilities, as well as several other mentions throughout the multimodal survey. While there will be several other opportunities to provide your feedback and ideas on what programs and facilities you would like to see within the city, if something hasn't come up on these lists or you have questions, make sure to go onto the project website, see updates and information we post there, as well as click on that feedback button to share your direct ideas and thoughts with the design team. The process for Workshop 1 will start with an online video presentation like this one here. Next, we'll have a live webinar where you can ask questions or see discussions with the design team and city staff. After that, a live survey will launch for 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, you can take the survey information, share your thoughts and ideas on the feedback buttons, and let us know what your thoughts are for parks and recreation facilities within the city of Pomona. After the 2-week period, we'll go ahead and collect all of the responses, summarize the information we heard, and post it back on the project website. I encourage you to click the link below or snap a picture of the QR code to take the Workshop 1 online survey. We're going to be asking elements such as, what are the great community characteristics that make Pomona a great place to live, work, and play? What issues might be impacting those community characteristics? As well as what public works and community services can do in addressing those issues. The online survey will be available for Workshop 1 between the time of February 23rd through March 9th. Please share the information with your family, friends, and neighbors and encourage them to take part in the online survey. Also, remember to check the website for Workshop 2, which will be coming up and announced on the project website.
Muchas gracias por participar en el esfuerzo de alcance comunitario. Las actualizaciones las vamos a estar publicando a medida que vamos avanzando en este proyecto. Por favor, chequee el sitio website.
Thank you for your participation in the community outreach efforts. Please check the project website for updates as we move through this process.
Esperamos escuchar sus pensamientos e ideas para entender la visión de los parques y recreaciones de la ciudad de Pomona.
We look forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas as the community's vision develops for the future of Pomona's parks and recreation.